Hi guys, you are listening to the Cattlestrength podcast. If you enjoy this show, don't forget to give it a share. Alex!
Hello!
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for asking me. I'm like buzzing. First time I've done it. So,
How's the drive?
Yeah, it was okay. It was good. Apart from just needing a wee and having to find somewhere to stop, it was fine.
Once you get past Command, that's it. Like, you're stuck and you're limited to places to go.
Yeah.
Where'd you stop?
Cross Hands, I think it was. Yeah, because I thought this is a safe bet. Hour in and then an hour to go. So yeah.
It's a very sensible move, that is.
Yeah.
Traffic?
No traffic. Just early doors. It was dark when I left. So yeah.
How was it?
Yeah.
One thing I like to do at the start of every podcast is I like to ask a question of the day for the guests to come on.
Okay.
So, question of the day today, I'm going to ask this. We've got 3 guests coming in today. You're number 1.
Okay.
If you could have a personal theme song that played every time you walked into a room,
yeah,
what would it be and why?
Oh, that's such a hard question. A personal themed tune.
I should prep people for this.
You should, yeah. So music is obviously like quite topical for me, like training wise. I really like listen to lyrics, but this has put me on the spot. So when me and Chris got married, we had a song that we played when we came out of the church, and it was Jubel Clingandy. No, I'm probably not saying that right. It's Jubel. I'm not. You want me to sing it? I can't sing it. No, I definitely. It's like saxophone Ibiza vibes, and it's like always seems to whenever I play it, just people like it gets the room going. So I think good energy because I feel like I got good energy.
That's good.
Is that a good one?
Jamie, we've got Jamie in the room here. We call him Jamie because of Joe Rogan podcast, but his name's Dave. Can you get that up on the screen for us, Dave?
Yeah, it is. It's a real it's a real high energy. Like I guarantee, if you play it, it'll give you goosebumps and it'll bring a memory of good times.
I'll write that down.
Yeah.
What's your go-to song in the gym then when you're trying to get clients going?
Clients is a hard one for me. Drum and bass, chasing status. That kind of like good, like deep drum and bass. Clients we're loving at the moment, old school R&B.
Oh yes.
So like little bit of like old school Biggie. Like bangers. Yes, yeah. So that's what they're loving at the minute. And
you can't listen to a lot of these songs though. A lot of them have been banned.
I know. I was just going to say one of the people, and I thought I don't think maybe I should admit that.
No.
So, yeah. But they all love it, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is like a banger." Old because you've got to really like cater for everyone. But I've got one client on Tuesday night, 8:00, and she loves drum and bass, and it's the last slot of the day, 8 till 9. I'm like usually like flagging by that time, so I put it on, and we're like, I guess it's going. So that's good.
Brilliant. So for the millions of listeners that tune in every week to listen to the podcast, let's have a little bit of background about Alex.
Okay.
What's your story?
So I'm a PT in South Wales in Cardiff. I've got a studio at home. So I only got into fitness really in lockdown. I had Teddy just before lockdown, so I think the July, and then we went into lockdown in the March. And I just got into a really bad space with like health, like food, exercise, and I think after having a baby, I don't know if anyone ever like taught us about this, and obviously you might relate to this, you kind of lose your identity, like you don't know who you are anymore. Well, I certainly didn't. And I think then I was using like food and alcohol probably like to like mask a lot of those emotions. Anyway, we went into lockdown and I was like, right, boom, this is the opportunity for me to get back into like exercise. So I did. Christian, my husband, is a qualified PT but doesn't like practice, and I was like, look, I need your help, like, which is hard to admit to your husband. I don't know if like your wife finds it the same.
Never said that to me.
But it was a really hard thing to say, look, I need your help, I'm really unhappy with like how I feel, and like we took it from there. So I just did a 12-week program in lockdown, nothing crazy, like body weight, calories, and it was so easy, and I started to feel like not my old self but just like a better version of myself. Anyway, fast forward a little bit, carried on with the training. I went back to work, like post like lockdown, and I thought my passion isn't this anymore. My passion is actually like exercise, and I thought, why is this has been so easy, but for like the 30 years of my life, or 10 years prior, whenever I've tried to exercise or diet, it's been so difficult. But I feel like I can help other women realise it doesn't actually have to be so hard. So I said to Christian, I think I'm going to like qualify. And he was like, wow, you've got a really good job. You've trained your whole career to get into the position where you was. Because I was in my dream role, my dream career. but I just didn't have the same passion for that as I did for like fitness. So I qualified online, started off online, just doing like nutrition plans and like exercise plans. And then we decided to build like a giant shed in the garden for us. And then Christian was like, I think you could PT people in here. And I was like, oh, don't be silly. No one's going to come and pay me at the time £25 to take him through an hour session. You must be mad. And he said, come on, let's just advertise, see what happens. And I filled 10 slots straight away. So I was working full time in my previous job, like 40 plus hours a week, and then I used to work 2 hours every evening. And then I thought, wow, okay, I'm really enjoying this, and was starting to not enjoy my day job as much because this was really exciting me. So Christian said, look, why don't we think about doing it full time? And again, I was like, oh, I just don't think I'm going to get 20 clients, Chris. I just don't think people are going to come. But he was like, come on, I believe in you, let's do it. So I took a career break and did it, filled the 20 clients. And then Christian was like, right, let's build you a bigger gym. Then I got to like 30 clients, and then the rest is from there. And I said to my old job, look, I'm not coming back. And that's it, yeah.
I'd imagine your books are full by now.
Yeah, so I'm fully booked, and I've got a wait list for like those peak slots, so evenings, daytime. But it's just an amazing place to be. And even every day I think, like, I can't believe this is my job. Like, I get to work in the morning, like, get up at 5:45 and I am buzzing like for the day. And sometimes like I work till 9:15 at night, you know, it's a long day, but I don't ever feel like a drain. I genuinely love all my clients, love going to work. So yeah,
I've been lucky enough because I know Christian, we were in school together, and I've obviously been friends with him on social media, and I've been lucky enough to follow your journey from the start. Because like he's documented it himself. And he was with you for a bit. He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, because we did the business together, so he primarily did a lot of the stuff to begin with. Yeah,
I think he actually reached out to me right at the start. He was asking a few questions about like what I think who did my like course and things like that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, and obviously to this day now I still follow you, and you're smashing it. Like,
oh, thank you. And you are.
Oh, thank you very much.
You are, honestly, when I pulled up, I was like, wow. Like, obviously, I follow you online as well. But I was like, God, this is insane. And, like, the gym, like, I just wish I honestly lived closer because I would train you every day. It's awesome. So you should be proud as well.
I think what it is, I think I can see a lot of, like, the way you run your business is very similar to the way I run my business, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, this gym now is a much bigger space, but it's kind of still run in the same way that the old gym was, with that personal touch and like small group PT style of training. Yeah,
that one-on-one, I think you can't replace you. So like you could have a PT session in any gym and it could range from, let's say, 30 to 50 quid, but people come here for you. And I think that about me, like I'm different to people, and I think that's my strength, and it always has been in whatever job I've done. And even as a child, like my dad used to say that to me a lot, like, you're different. So yeah, I think that's cool. Why people come to me, because of me, and what I do,
You touched a bit there, like, after you had Teddy, isn't it?
Yeah,
after you had Teddy, that you sort of lost your identity a little bit. That's something, I don't think anyone's prepared for that, are they?
No, and I feel like I say this to like clients and friends, and some people they just crack on. But I remember one of my clients, I told her, and I was like, you know, it's okay like to not feel like you're enjoying this moment, and she was warming up on the bike and she just broke down and cried on the bike. And I was like, look, I get it, like, you're not a bad mum for like say, but I think some people, they do like mum shame you, and like
massively.
It's like you should be loving every part of this organic journey and going to these lovely classes. But I literally just locked myself in the house, like, just not, and it wasn't like I didn't enjoy that time, but it was hard. It was really hard. And actually lockdown was the perfect time. We had time together as a family, like the three of us. But it's like your body's different. Everything is just so different, and I think for me my job was like almost like part of my identity, so like not working, that was strange as well. So then to kind of plough myself into like this fitness journey and like you know, eating well, you really start to feel, oh okay, I feel a little bit better about myself, and everything then just runs.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to sacrifice so much to be a mum. Even like, obviously I can't relate because I'm a dad, but even when you're a dad, I feel like you have to it's so hard transitioning into that
definitely
stage.
Yeah, like between me and Christian, we work really well as a team. Like he makes sure I get time to train, I make sure he gets time to train. Teddy sees us exercise. Dad, you're going for a run. Mum, you're going in the gym. So I think that's good. We're really supportive of each. We know that's important to both of us, but it's hard. You do have to sacrifice things. You do.
It's so nice that Teddy can see that, though.
Yeah,
I always say compromise is the most important thing in any relationship.
Definitely, yeah. And you know if you're taking the pee, like if you're taking the piss, like you can't be like, right, I'm going to be out training, like, you know, every day. You've got to have the balance. But yeah, it's good for Ted. He loves coming in the gym. He's on the ski erg and like he loves it. And he sees my clients, so that's also nice. I've had some clients for like 3 years now. So I always like pop to the loo between each client, wash my hands, whatever. And he's like, Mummy, Laura's here. She's on the drive. And then I'm like, George is next, which is one of my other clients. And he's like, yeah. So he runs to the door and I hear him opening the back door and talking to George. You know, it's just lush. So he knows I'm working. It's nice, isn't it?
We've reached a point now, and like this clients are so nice, aren't they? Like, we've reached a point now where like some of my clients will come in with clothes that their kids had.
Yeah.
And they're like, these are too small for Harley and Dion. Give them to Harry.
Yeah.
And like my kids are just getting clothes from clients.
Yeah, it's lush.
It's insane
really
when you think
nice.
about it,
Do you find, I feel like friendship wise, like my clients are my best mates almost, and they know more about me than some of my like previous friends or like friends that I don't see as much, because I spend so much time with those. And I don't know about you, but people like just totally open up the floodgates in like that hour set. Like they go and I feel like, okay, so you've hit some PBs today, you've lifted heavy, I've given you direction on where to go with your career, I've given you some advice on what to deal with your husband's situation, you know. And I'm like, sometimes at the end of the day Christian's talking to me and I'm like, I just need a minute, because you've just taken on so much. But it's lovely that they can feel.
I was talking about this the other day, like there's not many situations in life now where you're alone for someone else for an hour. You don't have a phone. Yeah. There's no distraction. Yeah. It's just you and that person, and you just get to talk. Yeah. Kind of like a podcast like this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's nice.
It doesn't happen often in life anymore.
No,
so
it
people
doesn't.
do open up, and if they've had a shit week or a shit day and they want to talk about something and get it off their chest, they're going to leave.
It's a private space as well, because like a lot of those people, I don't know their husband, I don't know their work colleague that's being unreasonable. So I think it's nice they feel like they can just open up in that time.
Yeah. And they know that they've got like full like data protection, like you're not going to talk about them. Like,
no, yeah.
So, you know, you can find out a lot of things and help people through a lot of tough situations.
Definitely, yeah. Which is
and
good.
Same the other way around as well.
Yeah, definitely. I know I had a client the other day. You probably know her, Mellowin. I think she's come here a couple of times with S4C.
Oh
yeah. She's amazing. I don't know if you follow her online, but her like comedy career is fab. Anyway, she's trained with me for like 2.5 years. And she came with like having like a bit of a rant about bin day or something, and then I was having a bit of a stress about Ted, because like there's a lot on at school at the moment. And like she left, and I was like, oh Mel, I feel lighter, you feel lighter. Like that was a really good hour. We like worked hard, you trained hard, but we feel like it's
way
good.
Off your shoulders.
Yeah, definitely.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've like the amount of times most of my clients are women. Like always has been. I think it's just a personal training thing. And the amount of times I've gone to like my clients for help. For example, I wanted to get Katie a push present.
Yeah, I didn't get one of those. I know, touchy subject. But
well, that's another thing. Yeah. Because I train women all the time.
They told you.
Rhys, you need to get a push present. So I don't know what one of them was.
Yeah.
Probably like Christian.
Yeah.
I feel like I've chucked Christian in the bus. Yeah. Sorry, Chris. But do you get a push present, Dave?
I don't know what it is.
When you give birth, you've pushed out the baby, so you deserve a present. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He did buy me a nice fleece the other day though, out of the blue, which was really kind. So I don't mind not having the push present. The fleece was a nice gift.
So to all the men listening out there with babies on the way, it's a nice little touch, and then get a little push present. I didn't know about this. I'm lucky because I train a lot of women. They said, Rhys, you should get a push present, and I had to ask them, and what should you get? And like or even down to the point of like, what should you buy Katie for Christmas?
Yeah.
Katie doesn't listen to this podcast, but they'll say, what about this one?
Yeah.
It's handy.
It is handy, no, it is. I often ask, like, if I'm stuck on ideas. Kids is the big thing. Like, a lot of my clients, because again, you feel like a bad mum posting online, what do I do if my child is XYZ, or, you know. So, like, a lot of us, like, share ideas about, you know, just stuff like that. Like, you know, if your kid's not eating veg, or, I mean, that's a rubbish one. But you know, like just some stuff. You
I
all
did
help
this,
each
this
other.
worked, and you speak
Yeah,
to people.
yeah. And I often say, oh, well, my this other person said their child was having this, so why don't you try that? And yeah, it just all, it's like a nice community. But it's weird because here it is a community because everyone like plays together in the gym. But for me, none of my clients, all they do is they see each other in the path once one goes and one comes in.
Yeah, but you say that, like, I did the same as you for 12 years.
Yeah.
And this has only been open 10 weeks. Well,
Yeah.
if that. You know, like, we had a really good community in the old gym, and it was exactly like yours
I suppose,
I think people just feel connected to, like, the brand that you've got and the gym that you've got.
Yeah.
It's Leader Lewis, and
Yeah.
you've got the t-shirts and things like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone gets the same service, so they kind of feel like they know each other.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and I do try and share a lot online, and that's nice because they can see if I remember, because it's hard to remember when you're having your counselling session, the weightlifting session. The last thing I think of sometimes is getting my phone out to film like the exercise. But when I do share it, they like to see. They're like, oh, I saw that person, or she was going for it, and yeah, that's nice.
There's one big accolade that haven't mentioned yet with you.
Yeah.
You're the current. Correct me if I'm wrong, yeah?
Yeah.
The current best PT in Wales, is that right?
Yes, that's right. I don't know what the actual title is. Welsh PT of the Year, I think, something like that.
Basically the best PT in Wales.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that
Jealous?
was just wild, honestly. So I saw it online on like an Instagram page. It was like, if you want to enter yourself. So I was on holiday and I said to my clients, this has come out. Wouldn't mind if you like just filled it in. And the guy was like, we're getting quite a lot of applications through for you. We just wanted to check that was right. And I was like, yeah. Like, it's just my clients, you know. And so then I was a finalist. I went, and then there was all these tables of people, you know. Like, they'd taken their whole gym. And it was just me, Christian, and my client, Katie. So the three of us. Because I'd nominated her as a client of the year. And I think she had come like a runner-up. And yeah, and I won. And I just couldn't believe it. And even now, I just think, I don't know. I really struggle with believing in myself. And I always have done. And when I got my first job, like previous to doing this, my dad had given me like a quote, and it said like, believe in yourself and you will be unstoppable. And I've got it framed on my desk, but I just don't. I can't, you know, I find it really hard. And although people think I'm competent because of the type of job I do, obviously you're on social media, I'm not really like a, oh, look at me, it's just not in my nature. So it's just crazy, yeah.
That's such a cool accolade to have, though. Like, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's in the gym on on the thing. I've got my High Rocks badges. One of my clients got me a cute frame, and then that. So, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you win anything with
that? Just the trophy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I had a bottle of gin. Yeah, I had a bottle of gin, but I gave that away. But yeah, just a little trophy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you've recently, I've been like obviously following you, like getting into high rocks training.
Yes,
Say getting into high rocks training, like smashing high rocks training.
Oh, thanks. It's so hard, yeah. It's hard, but do you know what? I absolutely love it. So I've just done my fourth one. Yeah, fourth one. Third one this year. So my first one was last October, Birmingham, singles. London, May, singles. Then I did Birmingham singles, and me and Chris did a doubles in London, last week.
How do you find the heavy sled? Like, most of the people I spoke to, like, have done mixed singles. The girls have like struggled with
wild,
the
yeah. We had some tactics. Like, as in, like, because Chris is so competitive and he's like, right, so this is what's going to happen at this point. And I was like, right, let me just stop you there. Like, we're just going to see how it goes. Like, I know you're going to be better than me. But he did, like, so the sled, he did one push. I did the first half, then he did it. And then the second time I did the first half, he did it, and then the last one. And the pull, they were really hard. So I think the sled was the worst bit of the doubles. Wall ball fine, lunge is fine. And the farmers, he's like 7th in the men's, like, just in open. So I was like, I think you just run and I'll run behind you. And the pace, he did it in a minute, which is a 5-minute K with the kettlebells. So I didn't have a rest on that one. That was the hardest station for me, because the other stations I was like, right, you can have a breather, but like we pelted it. So yeah. But no, I would encourage people to like give it a go. Like, I was in a bit of a plateau with my training. So I think when I first started out, like, my goal was weight loss, aesthetics. You know, I want to lose weight. I want to be back at my pre-baby weight. So I think I was about 180 pounds after having Ted, and like 140 would be like the best weight I'd been at. So that's all I was like focusing on, and like I think, God, when I look back at me now, I think, oh, you're such a knob. Like why we? But you know that we all grow and change. So I'd focus so much on that. Then like after 2 years, you kind of just I was like training, but it's all a bit plateaued. I was finding the dieting, like, you know, maintenance, I was probably not tracking consistently. And then I got into High Rocks training, so it was last summer, and having that has changed my, as cliche as it is, life, I think. You know, like my whole vision of like how I look after my body, fueling my body, having a direction for training.
Performance based.
Yeah. So, you know, when people say, oh, I don't, you know, I say I don't train for aesthetics. That is the God's honest truth. But I know some people are like, oh, that's a lie. But I promise you it's performance based. No. The looking like, you know, trim and muscly or whatever, that's like a byproduct, because like I absolutely want to make sure I'm fueling, you know, having enough protein. I got to make sure I'm, you know, giving my body enough food to recover, because I'm hitting it hard in the training sessions, and I have to do that because I want to get on that podium and get a High Rocks podium. So like having that gives you a direction, whereas I think when you're just chasing some aesthetic goals, of course you're going to want, but if you're just chasing, I want to be this, you know, size 8, or I want to be like 9.5 stone, if you have a performance-based goal, that is the best thing you can do, I think, personally.
Yeah, I like lost my way a bit after finishing rugby. Like I played rugby for years.
Yeah.
I was training for rugby, and then 3 years after I retired, I didn't really have anything to train for.
Yeah.
So I kind of came in and out of like a few different things. I even tried boxing, like really random. So now I'm really enjoying weightlifting. And I'm not very good at all, but I'm doing like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
I've got a coach. I send my videos to him. Like, it gives you a bit of a purpose.
Yeah, I've got a coach, and I think it is really good. Only recently a running coach, because I'm just not good at running, and that's my downfall with High Rocks. And it gives you the accountability, doesn't it, of someone to say, you know, you can do it, or push you a little bit harder. And
it's nice to hear. Like, you hear some people who like, oh, why have you got a coach? I personally think if you are a coach and you don't have a coach yourself, then you don't really believe in coaching. Like,
no, definitely.
If I could afford it, I'd have a fitness coach, a nutrition coach. It's going to help you.
It's a cost thing, definitely. Because even with High Rocks, I follow like a generic program. I could probably write my own stuff, but it's the time to do that. I always think, oh, I can't be asked to write my own stuff. Like for me, for my clients, I do. She spends, So having the runs done and like someone to be accountable for is, it's good. And I think everyone should have a coach. Yeah, I mean, you know?
How do you split your training now? Like, what does it look like for your typical week?
So Monday, lower body. Have to do lower body on a Monday. It's like a bit of an OCD thing for me. Like, if I don't do it on a Monday, I'm like the week's... it's not. Yeah, Monday, lower body. Tuesday's usually a run, but I'm a fair weather runner, so it depends on the weather situation. But Tuesday run. Wednesday High Rocks session can be like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, sometimes more. Depends on my clients of the day on a Wednesday, like how they fall. Thursday run, Friday upper body, because it's like, right, end of the week. That's like, it just feels easier.
So just being upper body session and no conditioning?
Just upper body. And then rest Saturday, Sunday zone 2, like a long easy run. Usually on the tread and watch something. Because like Chris can go out, like he's got a much better baseline fitness than me, whereas if I go out on a zone 2, if it's not dead flat, it's like stop start. So I usually just watch really trashy TV on Netflix, and Ted's just running around the lounge or whatever. It's easy. Nice. So that's like a week really, and the runs will vary whatever Gareth like programs in. Sometimes I'm like, oh, when I look at it, like today is like hills, and I'm thinking it's really cold, can't do that on the treadmill. So
So with your running coach, Gareth, is it?
Yeah.
He writes you a plan based on improving High Rocks.
So that's my initial focus, is to bring my race speed up. We've got a marathon then in April. So my next High Rocks is Manchester, Jan. So then from then to April we'll switch to marathon training. Nice. And I've never done a marathon before. So
it's a nice thing to tick off, isn't it?
Yeah, we're doing it in Paris.
Oh wow.
Yeah, me and Christian. He's obviously just going to go off. We're doing it separate, but 2 of my clients are doing it as well.
Oh, amazing.
So there's a few of us going. So that'll be good.
I've made a big bold decision this year for Harry's Hikes. Every year we raise money for Down syndrome, like a Down syndrome charity. So last year we did the Welsh 3 Peaks, and it was quite a tough challenge. This year I thought it'd be a really good idea to do the Ceredigion Coastal Path. With a 21-hour time cap. I didn't realise how far it was.
How far is it?
It's 63 miles.
Oh my
but
God.
it's on a coastal path. So it's basically an ultramarathon.
How many kilometres is there? I don't know.
Dave?
Was it 63 miles?
Yeah.
It's over 100, isn't it? 100
think so.
and... Is it 100 and... Over 100.
Wow.
It's like 110 kilometres. Could be wrong. But coming from someone who's not ran more than 10k really, it's going to be so hard. And it's in, what is it? 101 kilometres.
Ooh.
So you've got to average 5 kilometres an hour, I think, on a coastal path.
5 kilometres an hour.
For 21 hours.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I could walk 5k in an hour.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's... Do you fancy it?
When is it?
22nd of March.
It's very close to the marathon. I'll have to check.
It's training.
Yeah,
Chris
it
will do
is. I don't know if he would. You know, he's really strict at the moment with bits he's doing. Yeah, because he's like really into the running. He's so good at everything that he does, and I love him, of course. But he's just...
You also hate him?
Yeah, because he's just... Like, I got into high rocks. I was like, right, I found my thing. This is something I'm good at. He came to watch me. He's like, I'm going to do this. Of course, he comes in and smashes it. Better than me with, minimal training.
I hate those people.
Running, better than me. Everything. It's just like... But he does train really hard. I think some people look at him and they do... I think people do get annoyed because they think he's just, like, lucky. But he's not. He works so hard. But he's just good at everything he does. Yeah. So that's why we're not running the marathon together. But he was so supportive actually in the high rocks, because some husbands were like, come on, don't slow down. And I was thinking, if you better not speak to me like that, because but he was like, oh, you're doing really well. And we were actually quoting bananas in pyjamas quotes as we were going round, because Ted loves bananas in pyjamas. So yeah, we did have some fun. Yeah, no, he's good.
What time did you get?
112. So he wanted 110 and I said no, let's go for 120. So yeah, I was buzzing with 112.
Is that your best time so far?
Yeah, best one I did was it's hard because I did 121 in London, and then Birmingham I did 123, but we had the extra 25 wall balls, and the rock zone was literally like the size of Morrison's. It was huge, so you don't take into account how long.
What's a rock zone?
So the rock zone is when you run in off the run, so you've got the laps on the outside, you run in, and then you've got to run to the ski erg. So the time from when you run in to when you go into the ski erg is called the rock zone.
Oh, okay.
So when you run in, the ski erg was okay, but if you're going down to the lunges, it's like 500 metres down, so all that time is equated as like the rock zone. So I'd love sub 120, that's my goal for January. But when I ran with Christian, my runs were 45 seconds quicker. Oh, okay. So I know I can run quicker, but sometimes when I'm just going, I'm like, oh, this is nice. And I'm like, oh, I'm like at the high rocks, right, come on, let's go a bit quicker. So it's
basically just been in a pain cave for...
Yeah.
High heart rate.
Yeah.
For a good hour.
Yeah. And like obviously I've only had one child, only given birth once, but I would imagine high rocks is like that, because once I go on that first run, before I get in the ski erg, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this again. I say, right, this is it, you're not going to do the January one, you're going to sell the ticket, you can't do this anymore, it's ridiculous, it's too hard, like why are you putting so much pressure? And then towards the end I'm like, can't wait for January, so it's like having kids. I bet people think like, oh, I'm not having any more, forget the childbirth, start pushing, and then they're like, oh no, this is what it's like. And I think for me that's what I feel like with high rocks anyway.
Would you tell yourself when you're in the pain cave, like, do you talk to yourself?
Yeah, I talk to myself all the time. Yeah, even when I'm training in the gym, when I'm out running, yeah, I do. I'm just like, come on, you can do it. I'm like literally out loud talking to myself.
Do?
Yeah, I do in the gym. Yeah, and I don't think about it. I don't care what other people, I just put my headphones in and yeah.
I've realised, because I, like yourself, like trained in my own small gym, like when there's no clients, you're the only one in there.
Yeah.
And when I'm like pushing the weights or pushing the conditioning pieces, I'll shout.
Yeah.
But without even thinking about it, because it's just me in there.
Yeah.
And then now that I've got people training in the gym, I'll just like have to check myself and be like, shit.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And like the gym I train in is like, it's a commercial gym. There's no vibe. The music's quite quiet. But I've got this drum and bass going like max volume. I'm thinking no one else can hear. So when I'm like, I'm like probably one of those guys where people are like, oh, calm down. But I'm like, I'm lifting heavy. Yeah. And one of my clients, her husband goes and she's like, oh, he sees you training in the gym, says you're training the hardest out of anyone there. And I'm like, well, yeah, I am.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I could tell you're really motivated, right?
Yeah, no, I do, yeah. Like my training is, something that is like a non-negotiable. I say in, so when I look at my week, I plan my core clients in, I put when I'm going to train, and that's happening, like, because that's time for me. I'm a better wife, better mum, better coach, because I don't know about you, but when I'm training, I experience things that my clients might experience. So I'm like, look, you can, I know then how they feel. I pick up like different exercises, techniques that I can then relay to my clients. So it's something that I always, I will, like if someone says, do you want to go to cinema on the weekend? I'll be like, no, I got a long run. Like, that's how, and people might say like, get a life, but that's just, I think, their view on it. You know,
like it's completely different, isn't it? Like what you value and what someone else values is never going to be the same.
It's not, and I've definitely noticed that over time. And I've been that person when I was like unhappy with maybe how I looked, and I've thought about someone, oh, get a life, come on, have a burger or whatever. But actually I was unhappy with how I felt, envied how great that person looked, and probably part of me thought, I wish I could be like that person. So I think when people do have those comments, I'm like, well, maybe just check yourself. Like, I've got a life and I'm happy with like, you know, my balance. So I think
what you just said there is like really true to everything in life. So like I can kind of relate to it in the fact, you know, like in business now, if you're working hard, so I'll get comments all the time like, you know, like yourself, like you work till late, or you'll have to work on the weekend every now and then because you're trying to build something, and like for the future you'll get a comment from someone who's like, oh, when do you have time to do this with and like you could tell they're like, I know some of them, like they might be in an unhappy marriage or and they're just like conveying their issues onto you.
Whereas, definitely, like,
I think that's kind of true, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I'll openly say that's how I felt at that time. And you feel better for being like, oh, you know, get a life, like. And like when I look at, I would like long to be like looking like that person, you know. So I know people will say it about me, and like old friends of mine who maybe I don't see quite as much will say that about me now. But I think, do you know what? I'm really like damn happy with my life. That I like it so much that that's all I do. So
I know one person, obviously never going to name him, but he is quite close to me, and he, in terms of like friend or family, I won't say. But he's not been to the gym once to see her or support her.
That's just wild, isn't it?
But listen to this. So, you know, I don't know if you get this, but you know, every week you get a notification on Facebook to say you're your top fans.
Oh my God, I love that.
That person's been top fan for 3 weeks in a row now. He's top fan.
Yeah. But not being in the gym.
He's not, didn't come like mental.
I love that. I had that for a couple of weeks, and it was an old work colleague, like never messages me ever, but was top fan, and I was like,
top fan.
And like, I mean, I haven't got a lot of fans on Facebook, like a lot of followers on Facebook, but I think you've got to literally click on to be that top fan. Have you, or what have you got to be doing?
I think the analytics are so good with Facebook and Instagram now. It's probably like the amount of time you spend looking. So whether you're scrolling through a post and you just slow down and like it works out that you're really engaged. But I was talking to my wife about it, and it's 100% like a mirror. It's 100% more about them, not about you. Like it's an issue that they've got.
And I think, like, I don't know about you're obviously, you eat well, train well, look after yourself, like you're well in yourself, like, and you're comfortable with who you are. And I think when you do those things, I'm comfortable and confident in who I am now for probably the first time in my life. So if someone wants to say that, that's all right. Like I'm fine with that. Like, you know, I'm okay with saying no to things. I'm okay with like not doing things that aren't good for me, or if I don't want to do it, I just don't do it, and that's okay because I'm happy with where I am. Whereas I think that person, like say that they're like almost like watching you, almost like wanting something to, I don't know. I like people like that. I know what you mean. Because I have people who haven't seen the gym, but it's strange, isn't it?
Crazy, but it can be friends or family, unfortunately. And it's the same for everyone. You shouldn't take it personally.
No, definitely don't take it personally. And I think that's one thing that, like, when you own your own business, if someone is thinking about setting up their own business, like PT or whatever, you kind of just gotta like just don't take things like personally and take the emotion out of things. Which is really hard. It is hard, but you kind of just got to do that.
I think because I'm in the space, and like yourself as well, I always make a conscious effort. If any of my friends do anything, I'll share their posts. Because you know how it makes the other person feel. Like it's
definitely.
So nice.
Yeah, it is. It's supportive and just even like to say to like what you're doing, like if you're doing, even if it's not something that you would enjoy, like obviously some people might not enjoy, you know, like a class like here, but if you've seen one of your friends has posted like a sweaty selfie and they've got up at 5 a.m. to train, like give it a thumbs up, like that's amazing that they've got up and trained at that time, you know.
Oh, that's cool. What's next? What's the big, well obviously you got the marathon, you got the high rocks, what's on the horizon now with you now? With the business?
With the business, I suppose we expanded in Jan, so Christian extended the gym
He's
in
a ninja,
January
isn't he?
for years. I know, and that was like a real family affair, which was nice. So he basically knocked the wall down, extended it by, I don't know, 1 floor tile, I don't know how big, a metre I think, so I could get a metre, a ski erg and a rower in. So, but it was lush because on the weekends Ted, we were helping fit it, Teddy was painting the walls, so yes, we did that. So nothing really in terms of the gym, which Chris will be glad to know. I would love a bigger space, but it's just logistically just not going to happen. So I think just continue with the clients I've got. I'm really happy being one-to-one. I don't really want to massively grow my online business, maybe like a certain percentage perhaps, but I just love being like that more one-to-one. So I think just continue with that. High rocks, I really want to get quicker. So the running, I suppose, for 2025 is something I need to really like dial into. I'm also conscious like I'm getting older, so just trying to like look after my body so I can live as long as I can for like Ted. That's really important to me as well.
Do high rocks have age categories?
Yes.
What's masters in high rocks?
The what?
What's like masters in high rocks? You know, in CrossFit terms, like 35 would be masters.
They don't have things like that. So they just have like 16 to 24, like 25 to...
So you'd podium on each one of those?
Podium on each one, yeah.
Okay, so...
So I'm 37. I think mine's...
Yeah. I did not expect that.
I'm 38 in April. Do you think I was younger?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Quite a lot of people say that. Yeah. Which is good. That means my metabolic age is young as well, which is good.
Yeah.
So I think as you get older, at the moment, like the peak high rocks, like age category, I think is like 16 to 30. There's some like insane athletes running 1K splits, like 3:30. And pushing pro weights. I don't know if you saw, there was Marseille on the weekend, like Lucy Proctor, she did it in 1 hour 1 and just made the Elite 15. Like, she's just mad. So I'm not looking to compete with those, but if I could get a podium for my age category, that would be like the long term. And when you think of like one day, that's what I'd love to achieve, however long that may take.
So your age category would be what, sorry?
I don't know actually, but I know I'm not anywhere near it, so.
Yeah. That's cool.
I think it's up to 38, so maybe when I'm 39, I'll have more of a chance of winning. But you see people on there like 60s, 65, 70, and it is, and that's what I love about high rocks is you have these kind of elite girls that are like pushing it in an hour, but then you have some people who are just walking around and they don't feel like the people who are walking and finding it hard, people aren't looking at them like, oh, look at that slow coach. Everyone's if ever I see someone walking when I'm running, I always tap on the back and say, come on hun, you got this, because that's what it's all about really. So
I think High Rocks is miles ahead of CrossFit at the minute in how they just get these like big global events like with thousands of people in one space.
Yeah, it's a real community vibe, which is nice about
which
it.
Is like also, in my opinion, a shame for CrossFit. Like I think CrossFit had that a few years ago and it's just died. Have you ever done CrossFit?
So me and Christian did once when we were first dating, like we went to a class together and we tried Dragon CrossFit in Cardiff once, but it's just, I don't know,
Wasn't for you?
No, it wasn't for me really, no, I love lifting weights and I love like the hard stuff, but I don't know, I like to just, it just wasn't for me, I
quite enjoy like most modalities. Like we're affiliated with CrossFit and we're affiliated with High Rocks.
Yeah.
We'll do both. We'll do Olympic weightlifting classes.
I think a lot of people do crossover, don't they? Yeah.
But I do wish CrossFit would take a leap out of High Rocks' book in the way they run their business.
I mean, it's massive. The events, they're just huge. Yeah.
And it's quite easy to be a Hyrox affiliated gym, whereas with CrossFit, you've got to pay so much money.
Yeah. You know, even to be a Hyrox coach, it's only like $500 or something to do which I probably would look at doing, but I haven't got space for a sled and like, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah.
For me to be a CrossFit gym, I had to, obviously do my level 1 first, then I had to do an affiliation course, then I had to do my affiliate, and now I'm doing my level 2. So it's probably cost me about £6,000 altogether.
That's wild.
But it's £3,000 a year. So every year that you're a CrossFit gym, you've got to pay £3,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it's hard to justify. It's money grabbing. And
it is,
I'm sure they could drop that down a bit.
And with like the Hyrox, if you're an affiliated gym, you get other benefits, don't you? Like you get early access to ticket sales and stuff like that. But yeah,
you don't get as much with CrossFit. Obviously, like you do get some, but and I love CrossFit.
Yeah,
I feel like they grab. It's hard. The money they ask at the minute. It's a lot.
Yeah, but it's just I feel like it's blown up. Anyway, on my Instagram, that's all I kind of see on my algorithm. Probably because I like it so much as well. Yeah, that's all I see all the time.
That's we were talking about this yesterday in the gym, and like there's like 5 coaches working in now, and we're all in at the same time. And Katie said, what's your explore page look like?
Yeah.
It's such a good way to find out about a person.
Yeah, it is.
It can be quite risky as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I was sending Christian memes of otters the other day just because we have got this funny joke about an otter. And it was, I found this page, Otters Daily, and it was something funny, so I sent it. And now I've just got all these otters on my page. And I'm like, oh, God.
What's the joke?
It's not really a joke, but did you know that otters, when they're in a dam, they sleep holding hands so they don't lose their partner?
No.
And it's so cute when I heard that. Yeah, I know. So now I always think that's like a cute little story.
Fact of the day for you,
Yeah. So if I ever see anything funny like with an otter, I usually send it to him. But now I'm like inundated with otter memes on my explore page.
Mine was literally weightlifting.
Yeah.
And Yellowstone. Do you watch Yellowstone?
No.
Alex, you've lived.
No, what is that, a film? No, what is it? I don't know what it is.
Dave, do you watch Yellowstone?
No.
No. Guys.
I don't really watch TV. I don't have time to watch a lot of TV.
No, to be fair, like I'm not one of those people who watches a lot of TV myself. Like we have max an hour a night. It's not usually that.
No.
But every Monday night, Yellowstone. So last night, Yellowstone comes out.
Yeah.
It's the best program you'll ever watch.
Okay.
Christian would love it.
He probably does watch it because he has obviously 3 nights I'm working in the gym till 9. So once Ted goes to bed 6:30, every time I go in to like wee and wash my hands, he's just on the sofa, blanket on. Sometimes he'll have the laptop there, but I'm like, he's watching the TV. I'm like, doing work, are you? But he's just like, so he watches all sorts of stuff in there. I don't know what he does most of the time.
Well, if there's one thing you take away from the podcast today, Alec and Dave, it's watch Yellowstone. It's brilliant.
Okay, right.
Where can people find you?
So on Instagram, Lean Up with Lewis. That's it. I'm not a social media mogul. I'm like a crash dieter for social media, basically. So I'm either all or nothing. So sometimes I'll be posting stuff, most of the time not. But I will share bits and bobs. So there. My studio's in Cardiff, so in Rumney, Cardiff. So 1-to-1 I do there. So you can apply to coach with me in my bio on Instagram. And that's it, really.
So if anyone's down in Cardiff or living down in Cardiff that is looking to be trained by the personal trainer of the year for Wales 2024 and this year, is it?
Well, there's been no awards this year, so I'll just continue.
She's the current champion, basically.
Yes.
2 years in a row, 2-time champion. Reach out.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me as a coach, I'm balanced. So I'm not ever going to be the person to be like, why didn't you do this? You have to do this. I just give people recommendations and let them take it in their own stride. I think that's the best thing that you can do. And people do change, and I've got like incredible results from my clients without being too like rigid on things. And I think you've got to be balanced to enjoy life and to maintain results for the long term.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.